All right, I'm here with David Azizi from the law offices of David Azizi, and we're going to discuss a very interesting topic today, and something that we have discussed many times, just not on a Hangout. So this is the first time we will discuss it live on air for everybody to hear. But when I first started discussing personal injury with David, he mentioned that there is a grocery store is liable if there's not proper procedures taken in specific aisles. And if grapes are an issue with a lot of grocery stores, because when you buy grapes, one will fall off onto the ground, or kids are eating grapes and maybe the juices will squirt out. Well, you may not realize this, but in grocery stores there is a mat near all the grape stands. And I didn't notice this until David mentioned it. But David, why do they need to put a mat in front of these grape stands, grocery stores, and supermarkets?
Well, the reason for it is, and I'll cover this in a little while as well too, the same way they have mats in front of ice machines. When you have a product where it can fall off the shelving area or the area where these fruits or items are being stacked, with grapes, for example, one little touch or, people moving them around trying to pick the actual grape that they like. They may look at one and say, oh, looks a little bit too old, or I like this one. What is happening is these grapes are getting shoved around, moved around, and at some point in time, one or two or three of them are just going to fall off just due to gravity. And if they were to fall off on a rubber mat, the chances of a slip and fall is unlikely because there's the rubber mat. It stops you in your tracks so you don't have to fall. But if there's no rubber mat, and the flooring material is something where you got a grape, which could be slippery if it's on a slippery floor, then the next thing, as you can imagine, is havoc. The person's going to go ahead and slip, fall down, and unfortunately in these type of cases you have really severe injuries because unlike car accidents where you to some degree have the shells of the car to protect you, here it's just your body, flesh and bones, and you're hitting down hard. And a lot of times I've seen people either fall forward, and we do end up getting the videos from a lot of these supermarkets or these malls, which have surveillance for theft, but also the benefit is we get to get these surveillance videos, and you see people slam against on their knees, so they end up having to have knee surgeries. Or they slip back and slam really hard against the floor, so they end up injuring their lumbar spine or low back. And there's other mechanisms for injury. Somebody's falling forward, they fall on their elbows, and that causes the snapping of the neck back and forth, so you end up injuring your elbows and your neck as a result of that fall. So unfortunately, they're pretty severe injuries. Our clients a lot of times require very invasive procedures such as epidural injections, and sometimes they require surgical procedures where there has to be fusions of the cervical spine or fusion of the lumbar spine. There's discectomies, which is a less invasive procedure, or sometimes combined with a fusion. And also with the knees, a lot of times they have to have a knee replacement if they had a bad knee, and now they have to